First of all, welcome everyone. Welcome to Paranoia-X and another webinar of cybersecurity insights. I'm very pleased to see that so many of you have been able to attend despite busy November days. And I'm positive that you'll get a great experience today. I'm fortunate enough to be joined by two leading stars within the cybersecurity spectrum. With his vast experience in the fields of cybersecurity and technology, Richard adds value to any discussion in the domain. Having shared his knowledge with colleagues at Telenor for over 20 years, there is no doubt that Microsoft were pleased to see him join their ranks this summer. His familiarity with technology, his military background and practical experience has definitely come in handy when facing cybersec challenges. But cars? To my knowledge, Richard's fascination with cars is rooted in his belief in security by design and all the things we can learn from car designers and manufacturers. We are really looking forward to hearing Richard's observations on cybersecurity and, of course, where the cars fit in. Welcome.
My story that I would like to share with you today actually starts with Hanne, because it was the last day of June. I just resigned from Telenor. It was my last day in Telenor. I was about to start in Microsoft. And the last person I spoke to in Telenor, that was Hanne. Actually, we had lunch. And after that, I was driving home. It was a warm summer, beautiful day. All was good. The traffic was moving slowly. I was talking to a friend on the phone. And I got a traffic announcement on the car radio. Sirens blinking, blue lights in the mirror. I had to get out of the way and back in again. The traffic was standing still. I could see a text message on my phone, only the latest one, on the dashboard in my car. It was from my wife, Marit. And from the spelling, I could tell that she was shaken. The message says, "We have been hit from behind in the tunnel and the car is a wreck." She was heading for a summer house together with our youngest son, Marius, he's 14. And the traffic had a sudden stop in the tunnel. She had to panic brake and managed to stop with only a small margin to the large truck in front of them. As a reflex, she looked in the mirror when braking, and the person behind her in the car behind did not brake. They probably had a little blackout during the impact, because none of them could remember the airbags blowing up in their face. Marit and Marius got out of the car, afraid that the white powder from the airbags was from a fire in the car. Luckily, it was not, and the response was fabulous. The passing lanes, there are 3 lanes in that tunnel, was managed by the traffic control center with lights in the roof to guide. 1 line closed to make space for the firefighters, the ambulance, towing trucks to get all the crashed, wrecked cars out, and the other one to get the passing traffic running on the other side. They were hit from behind, and the car were pushed into the truck, as you can see on the picture here in front of them, and that truck did not move. And yes, the car was smashed in rear as well, and luckily the persons in the car hitting them seemed to be seemed to be okay as well. I've given many speeches on security, and I've almost always use the analogy to cars and Euro NCAP testing. It's because I'm impressed of what they do when they test the car. The cars are tested and smashed to verify that the protection works, and that's impressive and it's costly. Luckily, the built-in protection worked this time as well, and maybe saved my wife and youngest son, and the couple in the other car as well. The passive security, the metal in this case, it is security by design. The front of the car absorb the impact. You don't care about the car being demolished. It's made to secure another sector in the car from being impacted, where the real values are. In this case, my wife and son. The automated protection also worked. The airbags triggered by the sensors and exploding to protect. Another safety feature in the cars are the ABS brakes, the anti-blocking brakes. Also automated to help you not block the brakes that you would most likely do when emergency braking. Just step on it because you freeze. So the brakes help you not blocking. So you still can use the wheel to maneuver. It's a safety automation. I'm super glad for the NCAP testing of cars, testing of protection before things go wrong. And the stars rating also takes into consideration how friendly an impact from your car are on like pedestrians, not only to protect yourself, but also not to hurt others. While preparing for this speech on a Saturday in October, I saw in the newspaper this one saying that it's a breach on the human rights. There was a comment to the car safety belts. So the journey to car safety has not been easy. And with early car safety as the seatbelt in place, they still had to make this annoying clicking relay or flashing bulb to remind us to use it. That's because we're human and we like the freedom, I guess. When my wife crashed, she was on the way to our summer house. It's close to Skjaerstad. On this picture, you can see the old town of Skjaerstad, which is nearby. See the star embracing the city center and the water. It was easier to defend the city center with the shape of the star than the shape of a circle. You can say that this is old security by design. Building a wall, a fence to guard the values. It looks fantastic though. And the old security architecture, many IT operations are built the same way, guarding the company behind the walls. Because the gold and values were kept safe behind the walls. For many companies, the gold is now data. And the data might not be behind the walls anymore. It can be one of the home offices that you, maybe one of the houses you can see outside the wall here. I mean, this design is hard to protect the home offices outside the stars. Let's have a look at another architecture, zero trust. The goal of most security strategies is to protect sensitive data. This includes data on devices, in cloud apps, on-premise data stores, etc. It's because we know that bad things can happen, like when getting in the car behind the wheel. It is a risk. So if you look at this and say that the identity, okay, well, to drive a car, you need a license, a certification to drive it. And to become a driver, you have to go to school, you have to study, you have to take tests, you have to practice emergency situations. You have to learn how to give first aid. You have to drive when it's dark. You have to spin around on slippery tracks. And you have to practice on emergency braking to learn that it can take time to stop under demanding situations. And it can be difficult to steer when braking. But in modern cars, the anti-blocking brake system helps us there to keep calm and control. And this license to drive is maybe just for that vehicle, one type of device. You need even more training to drive a larger truck or a bus full of people. And when getting older, you have to visit the doctor for a check to be able to keep the license. the ability to drive. What about the people driving in your company data? Have you trained them? Do they have the skills they need? Are you sure? I am happy to see that more companies now educate their employees on security. And please include the boards as well. On the device side here, down to the left, maybe you have a 5-star car. Will it protect you and will it stay safe forever? Can you go anywhere with it? Is it a car? Maybe it's a scooter or a motorcycle or a tractor or a truck. The car must fulfill a standard to be legal to drive. It must be compliant according to the law and the policy. The brakes, the steering, the tires, the seat belts. You have to take your car to an EU control to verify the condition of the vehicle. When it gets older, your car is your device. You're driving your device while driving in the company data. If you have a bring your own device and accessing all the apps. So when working, you most likely use a PC, a mobile phone, maybe an iPad, and all these devices has operation systems, making them work, applications, enabling you to do specific tasks, surfing the web or playing games. Your device must be in good shape, in good condition, updated and patched. Because what you want is to get on the right side here. You want to access data. Data to read, applications to use, or maybe roads to drive. Could be a road, could be a highway. And you can't go there with a tractor or a scooter. Or it could be a ferry. But maybe you can't use the ferry when it's 3-meter waves. Or go on a bridge, or maybe not when it's windy. Or go to a tunnel. Many tunnels in Oslo close during the night so that large trucks won't get into trouble with a fire in the brakes there. Or a parking lot. We only can park for 2 hours and more. We have lots of rules surrounding us every day. Because not all of these assets can be accessible to everyone all the time. It depends. It's made conditional. It must be defined in a company policy or by law or GDPR regulations, depending on the business. What's required to enter the data? That will differ depending on the data. Your gold. The data needs labeling, classification, to be able to protect it from unauthorized access and use, and the applications as well. So there you have the security policy enforcement. You can, on the top here, pour in the law, the organizational policy, the company policy, the regulations and more to be compliant, to be able to prove it as well. You can put in threat intel at the bottom. That could be a traffic jam or snow over the mountains, closing the wrong road, limiting the access that you would like. Or rain, and it's slippery. Let's make another speed limit. Or wind, or flood, or rolling stones. Or it can be cyber threats. So as an example, with this truck, with this device, and this license, you can use this bridge, but not when it snows. No matter what you're driving, you cannot access this data or this application. It's not for you because it's not part of your role. Maybe you don't have the authorization, or you haven't been trained, or you do not have the security clearance needed. Or with a cell phone, you can access this, but not that. But in real traffic, it's hard to stop you from going on a highway with a scooter. Well, you might get caught, but you can do it. It's depending on the device. Or when your kids go to a summer camp, the kids being your most valuable data, your gold, will be who will be driving them? Do they have a license? In what kind of vehicle? Is it okay? Or if you are an alcoholic, your car has an alcoholic interlock designed to prevent driving with excess alcohol by requiring you to blow in an in-car breath analyzer before starting the ignition to protect you and others. Maybe we should have an alcoholic interlock to our company PCs as well. Maybe it's not okay to access the corporate data on a Friday night, halfway down the red wine road. In real traffic, most of this is based on trust. We trust other drivers that the car is okay and that they have a license and that they drive safely and that they are not drunk and so on. In your company, you don't have to base it on trust. You can base it on insights, on facts. You can monitor risky users, the sessions, enabling investigations, analyzation of user behavior to understand where and under what conditions session policies should be applied in the future. Like a user going to another country will get a higher risk because it's not normal. Please make another check. Are you really in hell? Well, that's a joke. It's a place in Norway. But the risk meter here will go up when you move, when you do something you usually don't. Or a PC at the bottom here, the left side, lacking the latest updates can be prohibited to access. Please update. So zero trust approach, controlling access to data, conditional access enforced by policy. It's conditional and can be made real time. So the access to data rapidly can change if the risk on your device or your ID suddenly changes, or access level on the data is increased over your limit. The protection in our car worked as designed. All I know from the car heating hours was that it was an old man driving and that he and his wife was okay as well after the crash. Could the accident have been avoided? Maybe, with even better devices, cars, with more automatic braking sensors, alerts in the car when going too fast or too close. Was the driver okay this day? Should he be driving? I don't know. Some of these protections can easily be deployed in cars, and in more expensive and advanced cars, they already are in place. So with a modern IT infrastructure, you can prohibit the device to access or limit the access. It's made conditional. It depends. This is super. The ID and the device is central components of a zero trust. Verify explicitly. Always authenticate and authorize based on all available data points, including user ID, location. As an example, if the user suddenly logs on from a PC from another country, the risk goes up because it's not normal. Verify the device health, like the EU control of your car, to check the correct tire pressure, which is made with a sensor in modern cars. Or your PC, does it have the necessary software and latest versions? Use least privileged access. Limit the access to just-in-time and just enough access to protect the data and the productivity. If you need access to data, maybe you just need it for a short time. Okay, grant the access for that amount of time then, from that machine to that ID, not for everyone. Or like when the teenager asks for the keys to your car, please limit the power and set the time limit to come home. And assume breach. Minimize blast radius for breaches and employee security strategy to prevent lateral movement, like the safe zones in the cars. The front will absorb and demolish to keep the container with the people, our gold and most valued data intact and safe, hopefully. This is like in my first job in the 90s, when I was testing interlocking systems for railways. What do you do when things go wrong? Where do you go? Action to take. This is not new. Because when you panic, it can be hard to steer, at least if you do not have ABS brakes. But automation enables you to steer when braking. In Microsoft, we're eager to make it easy, to make sure all our services play well together, to build our services in a secure environment, to use our insights to develop products and services with built-in security based on more than 8 trillion signals daily, to make it easy for our customers and users to secure their business using the same tools as we use ourselves, to share security insights in our ecosystem of partners, customers, users, and employees, to help when things go wrong, to make a difference so that the right things happen, not the wrong. Because what is the value of the things not happening? That's the hard part. And that's maybe the value of security. Engage with your users, the everyday drivers of your company. Educate them. But let's not pretend we are not humans. Humans make mistakes and we need support. Activate and use the built-in security. Make it easy. Use the easy words. We need to have everybody on board the security journey. Let's make it easy to talk security. I know we sometimes need new words, but please explain them. Use analogies, stories, to give them something to relate to, a context from the daily lives. We need every single one on board our journey to make more stars, all to make it a safer world. And let's not blame the people behind the wheel or behind the keyboards. We make mistakes. That's a fact. Let's continue building security based on facts. Use the available technology to help with routine and to automate. Use the available technology to support the human weak spots. Keep training your staff. And make the change. The bravest make the change while they can, not when they must. It takes courage to drive change. And remember, do a crash test, or at least a desktop session. Go for the stars. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for listening. I hope you found it interesting. And if you want to talk security, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or by mail, or give me a call, send me an SMS or anything. And with that, I would like to thank Paranoia and Tormod for arranging the event. Thank all of you for coming, and have a super day. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.